So I do know that the like XXL freshman class is nowhere near as looked at as it used to be. It's nowhere near as much of a like big thing on a reputation of a rapper anymore. It's really not because the list turned into like a popularity contest, and honestly, a lot of people like the way that like media works today, a lot of people kind of just immediately call it bad, even though it's kind of not the point of the list, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people expect them to pick like the best like immediate rappers. It's not necessarily about that. It's about like which ones are going to be popular in the future and are going to continue that this little run that they're on. It's not necessarily, it was never supposed to really be a popularity contest even though it turned into one. And a lot of people judge too quickly. I feel like you can't really judge it for like a few years, honestly. Like the last one that we can really judge fairly now is 2020's list, which in hindsight, I just looked at it, is pretty good. The 2020 list is pretty good. 2021's was not good. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't that good at all. 22's is okay. 23's, again, it's okay as of right now. We can't really look at it from a year in the future. We have to give these rappers that have been picked time to develop. You know what I'm saying? Um, but like I said, I'm going to go through every single rapper, 10 of them, and I'm going to grade them based off of like their inclusion, not necessarily obviously the quality of how I find their music has to play a little bit part into it, but it's more so of if I were to include them in a list like this, do I think they have enough buzz to have been picked, or do I think they have enough going for them to have been picked? Because I'm gonna be honest, I've seen like, you know how every year they always do like it's a leaked list, and it's not a leaked list at all. It's just like probably the 10 best people who should be on there. There was quite a few rappers who I would have rather put on this list. Lil Mabu going. I hate Lil Mabu's music, but based off of like his like clout right now in the run that he's on, and his like growing buzz, he should have probably been picked for this. V's definitely should have been on this. 41 definitely should have been on this. I seen this list included Caribou. I think Caribou or like any of the people from like the Concrete, like the Concrete Boys label should have been put on this, honestly. But let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with Big X the Plug. I definitely feel like if I had to pick from a pool of like these rappers, he's definitely him and a couple other ones. We're definitely like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna make it. Like they're easily gonna make it because he's on the run. He's getting the clout. You know, he's getting bigger name features from like bigger rappers. He's getting a hold of them. A lot of his songs are starting to get more play. You know, I'm not necessarily the crazy biggest fan of him, but I mean he's been getting some motion and like he's been popping. His newest album was getting a decent amount of streams. The song with Offset was pretty good. The song, that song's doing very good. He has another one that was also doing pretty good, but I can't, I'm blanking on the name of it. You know, more and more you start to see people talk about it. He's definitely, honestly, him and like that Mexican OT, which is who I'm going to talk about next, are probably the biggest two rappers on here, and they're both A's. You know what I'm saying? Well, spoiler alert, Mexican OT's an A too, but Biggest the Plug is definitely an A. I wouldn't say like I don't think I would do like an A plus for any of them really, but I definitely think he should be on here. And his music ain't half bad, you know what I'm saying? It's not like the crazy or newest thing in the world, but if you told me in 10 years that like Big X the Plug would actually be like a pretty big rapper, he might even be mainstream, I would believe you. You know what I'm saying? That is definitely, I feel like, in the realm of possibility for him. But let's go to the next one. Like I said a second ago, that Mexican OT is definitely an A. This guy started popping off whenever he uploaded that video with him like holding the chicken while he was doing like one of those drop mic videos doing a song, and the song's not that bad. I think the first song that started popping from him was like that door kick or something like that. What's that song called? Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name of it. I should do more research before I do these videos. But anyway, another great pick because I mean he's been having crazy streaming motion, and a few songs have been popping off this year. That song he had with the baby, because like the music video was actually doing really good, and also it's not even a bad song. That it's a surprisingly decent the baby feature. The music video is like based off like the Pulp Fiction movie, which is I love that movie anyway. So kind of it was a little more to me. His whole personality, like the way like his style of rapping, like the way he rolls his R's in certain Like the way he rolls his R's when he's saying words, or like rolling certain words that like you shouldn't even be able to roll because of his accent. His whole like thing where he loves grills and constantly including Johnny Dang, stuff like that is, it's pretty like good to have stuff like that whenever you're blowing up or like starting to get motion, because that's what people like recognize of you. That is a recognizable That Mexican OT thing, and it's leading to him getting popping off. He is also definitely, along with BigXthePlug, probably like one of the best, like easiest inclusions. Like you could look at That Mexican OT and be like, yeah, he'll probably be a part of this list, because he's just the easiest one to include. It's easy to look at him, pick him, and then be like, yeah, he's gonna be on this list. But anyway, let's go to the next one. Rich Amiri is actually someone who I was becoming a really big fan of recently whenever One Call started exploding. I love One Call. I love Illuminati. That whole Ghetto Superstar album is actually really good. I love it. I love Madonna and Rihanna. That is a great song. I listen to it at least once a day. It's amazing. He's been popping off. He's been making loud concert music, and honestly, I definitely think Rich Amiri could get huge. I really do. I think he could be really, really big. He's kind of putting his own twist on the style, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of makes him, you can look at, he like more like individual by himself, you know what I'm saying? He's not just a straight carbon copy of any style, which, I mean, honestly, besides a few of these, none of these guys really are. I mean, BigXthePlug, you could probably say that about, but like he's definitely, I'm also kind of excited to see his freestyle. I don't know why, just out of all of them, I want to see his freestyle. Like I said, he's been getting motion, a lot of SoundCloud movement. He's kind of one of those rappers, a lot of Spotify movement. He's exploding right now. He's getting really, really big. I see a lot of people talking about him. Every one of his drops seems like he's just getting better, and more and more people start talking about him, which is why I'm giving him an A. Like, we've got 3 A's in a row, which is very, very impressive. But like, sadly, I can't keep that streak going because of the next rapper. All right. So 4Bats he's a B minus for me. I have a album review of his, or an EP review, I guess you should call it, because it's technically an EP, but it was more than a few songs, so I decided to do a video on it called You Made Me a Star. And I definitely think that album was not necessary, or that EP definitely wasn't the best thing I've ever heard. I think I gave it a 4, I gave it a 3 or a 4. Kind of right below average, you know what I'm saying? But it could turn into something. Like, if he got more, it had potential, and he still has potential to make really good music, even though right now he's kind of just a wish Brent Faiyaz, honestly, in my opinion. But, like I said, he definitely could get bigger, which is why I'm giving him a B minus, because, like I said, the reason I don't give him an A is because of my own personal interest in his music. However, I can't dock off points because I don't think he's popping, because he is. He has a Drake cosign, he has a Kanye cosign, which honestly, along with Playboi Carti or Lil Uzi Vert or something like that, probably are the biggest, the best 2 rappers to get a cosign from. Honestly, Drake maybe not as much anymore, but this was before the Kendrick thing happened, so it was definitely his 3rd song, or 3rd or 4th song he had ever made was a remix with Drake. You know what I'm saying? And one of your first ever feature is a Drake feature. Your second ever feature is a Kanye feature. You know what I'm saying? That is immediate inclusion. Although I did think his pop off was almost too recent to have been included, because obviously that Ian, for example, would have been on this list probably if if he started popping off earlier, because obviously after a certain dead point, they're just trying to get everyone together, trying to get the photo shoot. They picked this list a couple months ago, a few months ago, obviously. So I almost thought he wasn't in time, or he must have probably been on the borderline. But I definitely, like I said, think he was a good inclusion in terms of that. I mean, obviously, I'm almost curious to see his freestyle, because obviously, he's a singer. You know what I'm saying? He's singing in hip hop, so he definitely is going to have a singing freestyle. I'm very curious to hear that. But besides that, I mean, there's really I don't necessarily like his music that much, but like I said, definitely a great inclusion in terms of his motion and his potential to explode. Now, this next inclusion, I'm gonna be honest. The first 4 rappers I just talked about are the ones that I immediately knew about. Immediately, I was like, oh, these are all 4 pretty good picks. Cash Cobain, I'm just giving a B, because I feel I might be completely wrong, and I might just be in the wrong scene. I might not be looking in the right places, but this almost feels too soon. I mean, his talent is definitely there for him to be big, but I almost feel like he isn't built up enough steam to be included on this type of list. He's kind of just got my phone just went off. I'm sorry, but like he just got like the smallest little bit of steam. But I might be completely wrong. Everything I've heard of Cash Cobain in terms of like his production, his features, have been good. You know, I really love Attitude from like y'all probably heard in that Hardstone Psycho review, or Hardstone Psycho review. I really loved his feature on Attitude. I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, if I didn't then, I do now. I honestly don't remember if I loved it when I made that video. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but like I said, he's just. I think there could have been more time. I think this was like a better one to put on next year's, but that's besides the point. I don't think it was a bad pick. I give it a B. Now I promise you that I'm not ranking these guys like AAA, BBB, CCC, DDDD, because I promise you like the next few of these that's gonna change up a little bit. But I mean, I'm talking about Lay Bankz. I'm giving her a C. I mean, she's got an album that's kind of bumping, and it does have that popular song "Tell Your Girlfriend," which is a good song. I like it, you know. But honestly, that's it. Like that's it. Bumping album, bumping song. That's literally it. None of her other songs are really bumping like that. None of them are getting good streams or anything like that, or anything of note. You know what I'm saying? Anything of note, which, you know, is kind of putting her back into the Cash Cobain type thing. But like, I definitely think she was too soon. I mean, could she become something? I mean, I really don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Like when it comes to female rappers, none of them are really none of them really differentiate from each other that much. I don't think. That might just be me. That's probably just me. That's probably just me saying that. But I've never really thought so. But like I said, I'm giving it a C. I mean, it's not a bad pick at all, really. It's just it didn't have to be. I'd rather some other people being included. No, and this isn't her being a female thing. I'm just saying, like, I definitely think like V's would have been a better pick. 41 would have been a better pick. Lil Mabu, not because of his music, but because of like his wave right now, would have been a better pick. You know, but Lay Bankz is okay. It's not awful. C is not a bad grade. It's just like a meh. This is like really random, but I really wonder where like rappers get like all these chains and stuff from. When I look at how many streams they got, and for example, BossMan Dlo went like 30 million, 20 million, 15 million, like 10 million, 4 million. That don't seem like enough streams to be getting you diamond chains, but shoot, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. But I'm giving BossMan Dlo a D, because I've literally, before, this was the only time, usually, I like to think I'm like pretty like in touch with hip hop and I'm like decently music inclined. Maybe not as much as other people, and maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I like to tell myself I am, I guess. And this was the only. Oh my god, my phone just keeps exploding. But this person was the only one out of any of these that I was like, I've never heard of these. Well, the first one when I was reading the list. There's other people on here that I was like, who in the world is that? But you know, BossMan Dlo, I was like, who is that? You know what I'm saying? His music. I did go to listen to a little bit of his music. It ain't that good. I mean, it ain't bad, but it's not that great. It's nothing of note, you know. And I had literally not seen a soul mention his name. I hadn't, and then I go to his Spotify, and he's not really got that many streams. I don't entirely know what's special about him made this list. Oh god, my phone. So the next one is Scarlxrd, which honestly to God, it's an F. I don't know. I've never heard of this person before. Never had heard about it. Her music ain't good. And just, who is this person? Like, I genuinely, let me go to my next page, but like, I genuinely don't think I think they just found her somewhere on Spotify and was like, throw her on there. Okay, so I think I'm saying this guy's name right. I give Honcho a B because I know his newest album was getting a lot of buzz, and I had actually heard music from him. I actually kind of like it, low-key. I had heard music from him before he was even on this list. Not much, but like I knew about him, and it kind of wasn't like a surprise that he was on the list, but like I was like, I didn't think he'd be like a first bout to make this list, but you know, he's on it, that's cool. He's a B. He's definitely a B. He could definitely get bigger. He is huge. I know he's huge in Atlanta. I know that. He's very big in Atlanta, which, you know, if he's able to like pull some right cards and get some like decent features or something like that, he could definitely evolve that into something else. So it's foreseeable. You can see it. It's definitely a B. You know, the Scarlxrd person definitely was a way worse pick than this. But I think that's the worst member. Besides Ruby Rose, that's the worst person to ever put on an XXL list. Like, Jesus. But anyway, yeah, he's definitely a B. The next one is Maiya the Don. Again, it's only an F, and I promise that it's complete coincidence that the only Fs on here are females. Like this was, I'm pretty sure they was digging through the ground and found her like under in a mine somewhere. Like, good lord, there's nothing. I had no idea who it was. The only thing she has that is somewhat implicant or like implies that she might be kind of going somewhere. She has a Flo Milli feature. That's it. And it has like 50 million streams. It ain't like it got 100. It doesn't even have 100 million, you know? That's that's not good. She's like, excuse me, I had no idea who she was. I haven't seen anyone anywhere speak about her. So I like this was a nothing pick. They had to fill a spot. Now, this last one was the fan winner spot, which it kind of changes how I can rate this because, I mean, it's the fan vote. Now, I mean, obviously they've had accusations of the fan vote really isn't the fan vote. I know Lil Skies, that's the reason he was never on a list, is because he accused them of the fan vote not being actually fan votes, so he didn't want to do it. Now, I mean, I guess I'd give this a B minus. It's hard to say anything because, like, let's just assume they're telling the truth and this isn't a fan pick. I mean, his music's good. I can understand why fans would like him. I hadn't really heard many people talk about him. But like he's doing good. He's got a little wave going. You know, he's got decently sized Rob 49 songs, and he has a Moneybagg Yo feature. You know, he's getting a bit of streams. You know, he's in the flow. He's in the stream flow. It could get somewhere. So I mean, as of right now, I'm gonna give it like a B minus. I mean, there's nothing. It's a fan pick. I can't say much about it because the fans picked it. They didn't. You know. Okay, so I know after like, you know, that was kind of a bad row. You know, we had 2 Fs and a D. However, and a C. We had a C, but a C ain't bad. A C's like mid, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, we had 3 A's, we had a B minus, a B, we had 2 B minuses and 2 B's. That's pretty good, honest to God. And there's also, you have to think about it this way. There's a potential that one of these guys I gave an F or gave a D, there is heavy potential that they could absolutely explode like as soon as next week. And I could have been completely wrong. And you know, if I am, I'll eat my words. I hope I'm wrong. I want everyone like to be successful. I don't want these guys to fail just because I gave them an F or a D or even a C. Like if Bankz just exploded, I wouldn't care. Even though I gave her a C, I would do an after rating and be like, so I was wrong. But however, I do think, you know, I think this has potential to be a pretty solid list. Not up there with one of the best ones. It's not as good as 2013's. It's not as good as 2014's. It's definitely... No, I'm going to be honest. I don't think we'll ever have a list as good as 2016 because I don't think there will be a year with that much new talent and that much new rappers to all conveniently explode and be successful. We never will. We'll never get another year like 2016. I'm rolling my script up and about to throw it away. But yeah, we'll never have another year like 2016. So people need to stop comparing every single new year to 2016. That was 8 years ago now, which is sickening to say that. But, you know, it's 2024 now. These guys, I think this is a pretty solid list.